Hey, this swing day, call this number back. I need $25 for this walk around sit down chair.
Production. Been around the block. Been around the block.
Good evening and welcome to episode 32 of Been Around the Block. We have a very special guest tonight, Christo Rohlmeier, and I am Brooks Southern as usual. We have Christopher Ross and Bradley Nemo Sparks joining us tonight. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
Man, amazing.
That's good, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
I smoked a turkey.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say something else, bro. I smoked a doobie, bro.
Hey, Thanksgiving wore my ass out, bro. Like I'm so mentally and physically drained today, bro.
Do you do a big family get together? Or?
We did in Pryor, Oklahoma, and it was like
Right.
I seen a bunch of cousins that I hadn't got to see in a long time, so it was really cool, man.
That's cool, man. Yeah, we kept it super low key, man. Like I hung out with my kid, hung out with my brother and my aunt. That's about it, man. So, what about you, Chris? You have a big family get together?
Man, I just smoked a turkey, and
you're gonna say it again.
You say what?
I thought you were gonna
That's
say
what
it
I
again.
did.
You smoked it.
I just
say something else.
Oh man, you got a bad brain. I just chilled. I just chilled with the kids and had ate, made this shirt. You know.
Why don't you stand up and show it to us? You showed me the picture.
Yeah, bro. Where's our shirt? How you gonna make a Been Around the Block shirt? And
it's got his name on it. Yeah,
I like it.
Do it full. You gotta do the full turnaround, bro.
Come on, dude, do the full turnaround.
Be our model. Oh, there's not a QR code on the back. Come on, man.
No, I need to put one on the back. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's awesome, dude. I like. Yeah, we need different colors.
What size is that, dog?
This is your size. It's a large.
You ain't even watched it yet either, have you?
I have. I watched it right after I got done.
Okay.
It's a schmedium. Hell yeah. What about you, Christo? Man, I'm looking forward to hearing your story tonight. Man, how was your Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it was great. We did something a little small, typically really big. My Thanksgiving Christmases are really big. I have a really big family, but I get anxious around a ton of people in a cramped space. So we did our own this year. It was amazing. We got up early. Me and my wife, we cooked the food, and man, the kids had a great time. We all sat around and talked about, the greatest moments of the last year and a couple of things we were grateful for. And that's a tradition we're going to start doing every single year now. So I enjoyed it.
Was this your first year doing that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I usually show up, just eat the food wherever I'm supposed to go, my grandma's house or whatever. But this year we did our own.
Hell yeah. That's what's up, man. That's kind of what we're trying to do with my mom and daughter and stuff like that. Just trying to kind of start our own thing. So we're so excited to have you on tonight. I've heard your name in and out since I've been sober. It's nice to put a face to the name, and just let's get into your story. I know Solid Rock Recovery, you founded that, and like you and I talked before getting on the live stream. But man, let's just kind of go into it, man. Like I said, I'd love to hear your story. And you said you had a couple of your alumni from your program who was on the podcast, right?
Yeah, that's how I first heard about you guys. So Chris Blanchard, Wyatt Pitt, Pierce Rosengren all came through my houses. So I've been listening from day one. And, as I was telling you earlier, I've seen the progression you guys have had. I mean, just the numbers that you guys are starting to reach, it's growing. It's an amazing thing to see. You got Nemo is probably one of the most popular person in Oklahoma that's in recovery. And Brooks, I mean, heck, man, bona fide rock star. And we all know Chris is the glue that holds this thing together. So I'm
everybody too, man.
Very happy to be here. But yeah, I've been following you guys for a while.
That's what's up. So just a little fun fact. I've got Chris Blanchard's name in my phone as Tiny Fingers because he's got smaller hands than me. And he's like, 6 inches taller than me. So if you're watching, Chris, sorry, buddy. It's always going to be Tiny Fingers Blanchard.
That is interesting that you brought that up. I do want to say something just because shout out to Solid Rock Recovery, man. Great program. if I could say like the top three, in my opinion, in the metro area, I would say the Pello House, of course, BTR, and
Yep.
then you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of success in those three programs as far as people transitioning from sober living back into the real world. And I do know, I remember when BTR first started, and because I still work with BTR, and Christo would always call us up and be like, well, we had a guy relapse and we can't let him back in. Can y'all let him sleep on the couch?
Oh yeah.
Until he gets up to solid rocks, standards. I'm like, man, we're gonna get there one day. We're gonna get there one day. Shout out Candace Decker.
Hey,
What's up?
I will say that Joe Pello and Blake Beckner, we all three work together. So it's not a one-sided deal. We've taken guys in from BTR that, maybe they made a bad decision. They got to go, but they really want to better their life, and we kind of have to work together if we really want to help people. If that's really what we want to do. And you guys over there at BTR have been so amazing. Everything that you've done, that's another thing that I've been able to see. We kind of, me and Blake, started around the same time. And Joe Pello is a mentor to me, man. That guy helped me from day one. Joe Pello actually entirely filled my very first house that I was ever asked to run. So I look up to Blake and Joe.
Yeah, big shout out to Blake Beckner and Joe Pello, man. That's awesome.
Dude, that's so awesome. The motives are all in the right place. It's about helping people. And like, I think that's the whole point of this whole thing, getting sober, is, giving back what you've been given so freely. So that's so awesome. So Christo, man, let's jump into your story, man. Bradley already asked you this. What was your drug of choice?
I was a hot IV heroin addict. Now, I did everything. I prided myself on trying everything.
Hell yeah.
But the thing that really just completely destroyed my life was heroin. So
I can relate.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure there's four of us here together.
Yeah.
That's why I had to, when you said that, bro, I was like, man, I love everybody that comes on the podcast with, whatever their drug of choice is, but heroin addicts know heroin addicts. Opiate addicts know opiate addicts.
Oh
yeah. And, so you just celebrated 7 years, right?
That is correct. As you did. Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations, bro. That's what I was saying. 2017 was an awesome year for both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. But yeah, I'll hop into it. I'll be honest with you. I don't like talking too much into the past. Like all four of us sitting here, if anybody who struggled with drugs and alcohol, what it was like, and it was completely horrible, in every aspect. We might have a little differences in our stories, but the way we felt is exactly the same.
Yeah.
But early on, I really got in no trouble early on. Coming from a great family. My parents are amazing. I played sports year round growing up. And I really believe that was the thing that kind of shaped me. I'm very competitive today, and I think that's where it comes from. But I played everything: baseball, basketball, football, soccer, you name it. Basketball was my favorite sport, and I played until I graduated high school. And I moved in with some friends, and I was smoking pot here and there, drinking around 15, 16 years old, nothing crazy. And even into my early 20s, experimented with, ecstasy and all those different kind of things, but nothing really traumatic or anything bad happened. I wasn't stealing from people. I wasn't, feeling worthless or anything like that. I got arrested when I was 19 for possession of marijuana, and I was court ordered to go to a treatment center. So I just had to find one on a map on the internet. And I find this one that was in the eastern part of Oklahoma. And now I did not know this, but this was a Scientology treatment center.
Nice.
Now, I want to clarify that I have nothing negative or bad to say about anybody who believes in what they believe in, but it was a tremendous shock to me when I walked into this place. I was doing the whole deal because I was court ordered to be there. So, like, I'm going to jail if I don't complete this. They were having me do the TRs, everything. I mean,
You're gonna have to elaborate a little bit on that.
Okay, so a TR is.
Hey, did you have to do the handles, the thing?
No, I did not do those. I did not get to that level, but
okay.
So day one, you have to sit in a chair across from another person, and you're touching knees. I mean, you're right there with each other, and you have to stare at that. You cannot move, and you have to stare at each other for 10 minutes. If you or another person moves, you have to start all over, and you have to do this multiple times in a day. And then I moved on to the sauna program where they filled me with niacin and sent me in and out of a hot sauna program. And mind you, I'm 19, never been to treatment. I think this is what all treatment centers are like. And I'm like, man, these people are crazy. You know, I'm in here with these heroin addicts, meth addicts, and all this stuff. I'm just there for smoking pot. And I mean, it completely just changed my thinking on what recovery from drugs and alcohol looked like.
How old were you? How old were you again?
I was 19 when I went into this place. And I was so shaken by this that I refused to go to another treatment center until I was 25 years old, which I needed to go to one before that. But I was so adamant about not going because I'm like, that's not place isn't going to help me. I'm not going to sit there and stare at somebody for 10 minutes again. But I ended up moving to Las Vegas when I was 21 on my 21st birthday. I dropped out of college, moved to Las Vegas to become a professional poker player. My mom was so proud and so happy, you know. I mean, I thought she was gonna kill me when I told her what I was gonna do. And you know, they supported me. I wasn't married, no kids. So and this was before any bad drug addiction in my life. You know, like I said, I still, did things on the side here and there, but no real consequences. And I lived there, man, for like 2 years. I had a great time. And I came back. And when I came back from that trip is when I did Oxycontin for the very first time. And I still remember the feeling that I got whenever I took that.
How was you introduced to Oxycontin?
And I was in a relationship with somebody that introduced it to me. I didn't judge. It wasn't a big deal. Like I said, I had tried. I prided myself on trying everything. I had tried almost everything at that point except opiates, and didn't have a need for it every day or anything like that. But it was Oxycontin was the thing that really got me. We know now all of the scandals and everything that happened, that Oxycontin was everywhere at this time in my life. And I got completely addicted. I loved it so much. I was willing to throw away everything and everyone in my life to feel that. And I kept chasing that feeling. I never got it ever again, but I kept chasing that for 8 years, and led me into treatment center after treatment center, being homeless, trying to move away, trying to do all these different things. I become a IV heroin user at this time. I said I would never do that. And it's just like wherever that line was drawn in my life, it was very easy for me to erase it and redraw a new one, And I'm at this point, I'm stealing from family, friends. No one trusts me. No one should trust me. I literally had nothing. And on October 3rd, 2017, I was coming out of my 7th treatment center, and I got drunk, and I literally wanted to kill myself. That I had made the decision that this is what I was going to do. I could not see any way where I could be happy. I knew I was hurting everyone around me. And I had thought about it. Man, my depression was real bad the last 2 years, and I had thought about it for a while, but I was seriously going to do it this night. And I was staying with my parents at the time. And my dad, he saved my life that night. He didn't allow me to do anything. I still remember him saying, "Hey, just don't do anything tonight. Let's get you in somewhere tomorrow, and just please, for me, don't do anything tonight. And that's literally saved my life. And the next day I woke up and went to another detox center. This was number 9 for me at the time, on October 4th. And it was called the Ark in Oklahoma City. It is no longer there. But while I was there, there was a very special person that took time with me. His name is Tom. Now, Tom is very special to me because I've never met him again since this time. And I don't know his last name, but I still remember it was Tom. And he sat down with me for about 30, 45 minutes. And he convinced me to go to treatment, not only go to treatment again, but to try something different. And he suggested that I go to a place called Rob's Ranch. I did not want to go. I heard it was 90 days, all men, faith-based. I said, no, I'm looking for the 30-day co-ed, and I'm not, none of that Jesus stuff. And he's like, so you've been to 6 of those before, right? How's that worked out for you? Like, all right. And there was something about him, and I truly believe that I've had that same mindset from day one. Whenever that happened, that I said, well, I need to listen to somebody else. I do not need to make any decisions in my life. And I still live that way today. But I ended up getting a spot into Rob's Ranch, and that place completely changed my life. I was there for 60 days, and they kept wanting me to go to sober living. I said, I'm not doing sober living. I don't need it. I'm just going to go back home. And then I talked to my parents and said, you're not allowed to come back home. I said, well, I might as well try this sober living thing. And I went to a sober living program called Brothers in Recovery in New Walla. It is no longer there, but that place holds it's very special to me. That's where I met a lot of my best friends today. There's a group of us that were all serious about this, about changing our lives. And, where a lot of us are still sober today, and we do a big book study retreat. And we all get together once a year and catch up. We're still, really, really good friends. And it just, I learned, I got a sponsor for the very first time, and I was just so thankful for him to take the time and went through the steps. And then you guys know how it is. My life started to get better, and, I couldn't believe it. Well, I was about 6 months sober at this time, and I really wanted to be sober. For a long time. So I started looking around at people that had 5, 10, 15 years sober. And I said, okay, what are they doing? What are they doing that has allowed them to get this sobriety time? Every single one of them was highly involved in helping other people. Every single one. They were leading meetings. They were sponsoring tons of other men. They were working in recovery, you name it. And so I said, okay, that is the blueprint for me. I'm going to do that. So I started to volunteer at different places, and I volunteered at a nonprofit organization that helped get men and women into detox centers, treatment centers, sober living programs in for free all across the country, really. And I met some amazing people. One of the people that I met very near and dear to my heart is a lady named Mitzi Chappell. And
shout out Mitzi.
Mitzi, yeah, she showed me how to really help people. And she introduced me to a ton of people in the state of Oklahoma who know how to help people. They work.
Can I ask, so you said you went to 9 treatment centers before this, right?
Yes.
What would you say? Because I know a lot of people that, watch, at least that are, that follow me, that are still struggling with this. They're at that, they don't know how to quit. They say they try, and they just can't. They really want it, but they can't. It's kind of like you were 1 through 9, with your treatment centers. So what was it? What would you say it was that made you never want to go back that 10th time? Or that 9th time.
The word surrender. I mean, you don't see someone surrender, throw out the white flag, and then start telling someone what they're willing to do and what they're not willing to do. When you surrender, you are done. You aren't making any more decisions. You are listening to further instruction.
Yeah, you don't get to negotiate the terms of surrender.
Exactly. And that is something that I still have today. I'll tell you, 7 years sober, I do not make any major decisions in my life at all without talking to my sponsor.
I actually love that, and I wish that I could say I do the same thing to a T because I don't.
But another thing too, I mean, you help a lot of people. You help
Right.
a lot of people, and it's just in me and Brooks were talking about this. There's no right way to get sober, to stay sober. It's whatever's working for you. And if you don't have anything that's working for you, find something that's working for someone else, or someone else's life that is working out. That's how this whole thing started. Was one alcoholic, one addict talking to another. One alcoholic, one addict helping another.
I'd say whenever I like wanted to go with the sponsor and everything, I was looking like how happy they were and like the fulfillment of everything that they had in their life. That's what I wanted. So that's kind of what drove me to. And I didn't want a nice sponsor because I already know I used to be very manipulative. So it's one of those things that I see happiness and stuff inside of them and see that I want the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you need to have somebody. It's sponsorship and friendship are two different things, man. And like with my sponsor currently, man, he's like, we've been friends before, but you want me to be your sponsor? I'm going to call you on your bullshit. Period. And that's what guys like me need. Because I'm like you, Chris. I will sit there and try and manipulate, even though I don't think I am, and my motives are good or whatever. I'll still try and manipulate things to benefit me in the end, and that's not what people like me need.
Now, and I don't want to get you too far off track, but I also get asked this a lot, and I would like to get your opinion because I know that you're a man of faith, right?
Yeah.
So what do you say to the ones that say, well, you don't need no detox, you don't need no 12-step program, you don't need no sponsor. All you need is that one step surrendering to God, and that's it. That's it.
Well, if it's working for them, then fine. But if it's the only reason they would bring this up, if it's not working for them. If it's not working for them, then they need to try it someone else's way. Now, I haven't met many people who come up and brag and say, I've been 5 years sober, never got a sponsor, never worked a step. I don't believe, I'm atheist or whatever. If I did, I would say congratulations, that's amazing, and I want to get to know that person.
Yeah.
But it's typically the people who are making stipulations of what they're willing to do and what they're not willing to do. And when you get into that territory, for my own life, it has never worked out well for me. Okay. And I didn't, like I said, I take instructions. That's it. I take instructions and my life stays pretty good.
And I was in the same boat as you. I needed someone to, listen to and show me the way, because I don't know how many altar calls I went to or how many times I think I was baptized like 3 times, like I don't know how many times I had, given my life to Jesus and said I'm done and then was high that night. So,
well, on October 3rd, like I said, on that night, I'm a man of faith today, but that night I said my first prayer that I haven't said a prayer in probably, I would say 10 years from that point. And that prayer was for God to end my life. And I look at my life today and I truly mean this, that he ended my old life and he gave me a new one on that day. Now, it took me a while to work through a lot of the issues. And my major issue was I looked at God, higher power, as a strict father figure that was going to punish me, going to judge me, all these kind of things. And today I look at him as a best friend, that's the change that happened for me. I get to live life with God today. That was a big thing that changed my thinking.
Amen. So like I said, I didn't want to get you too far off track. So where did we stop?
So I was volunteering at a nonprofit, helping getting people into detox centers, treatment centers, sober living programs. I met so many amazing people that are still my friends today. And mind you, this was all before I was a year sober. and just really got involved in helping other people. I was asked to be a house manager at the Brothers in Recovery where I was at. I loved that. That nonprofit offered me a job. Now, working for any nonprofit, you're not getting paid a lot of money, but I loved every minute of it. And then they said, well, hey, we want to open up a sober living program. You're a house manager. Why don't you go ahead and run it? And I love the idea. I was like, okay, yeah, absolutely. So that's why I bring in men like Joe Pello, Jeremy Gray, Chris Flannery, all these different guys, like, really helped me. I mean, I was on the phone with them every single day. What do you do in this situation? How do I handle this? All this. And so I started running that sober living program. I did that for about a year, and that organization dissolved. And so I was looking for another job. And so I started working at Rob's Ranch, the place where I got sober. I had a great time doing that. And during that, I had a counselor who is the real reason that I have Solid Rock Recovery today. His name is Billy Samuel. He's one of the best guys I've ever met in my life. And I still talk to him today. But we're talking about where to go with my life. He says, you can do anything. What do you want to do with your life? And I said, I really loved, starting up that sober living program. I would like to do my own. And he said, okay, well, go ahead and do that. I said, Billy, I don't have any money. And not only that, I have debt. Like, I can't just start a sober living program. And he says, you mean to tell me that, all you want to do is help people and you don't think God is going to make a way for that to happen? And it was basically like he slapped me across the face, He said, and I still remember this today. He said, do not focus on the big problem, on the big picture. What's the first thing you need to do, and go do that? What's the second thing you need to do, and go do that? Well, I found out through researching that I needed to go file for the state of Oklahoma for a 501c3 nonprofit application. I had to pick the name. I had to do all these different things. And so I went and did that. And then I had to find some board members who were willing to, be liable for my actions. Because if I do, let's say I mess up, board members are liable for nonprofit organizations. And luckily I had a group that was willing to sign on with me and start this. And so I started doing that. I did that. And I thought, oh man, this is next month, all this is going to start. It's going to be great. And another year went by, and I got very frustrated. I didn't think it was ever going to happen. I've had different opportunities pop up that just didn't work out. And in 2020, Jeremy Gray, who runs Path to Miracles, he had a sober living program in Oklahoma City, and he was starting a treatment center, which he now runs today in Sayre, Oklahoma. It is Rob's Path to Miracles ranch. And he said, hey, I want to approach me about purchasing his houses. He had 2 at the time. And I was all in. I knew Jeremy. I knew he ran a great program. I knew a lot of the men in his program already. And I said, great, I'm going to do it. And then I went to the bank, and every bank was like, no. He's like, your credit is horrible. It's like, yeah, I've been a drug addict for a long time, but I want to do this. And they say, I've never owned a home before in my life. And now I'm trying to buy 2 at the same time. So you can imagine all these banks are shutting me down left and right. And a good friend of mine, Dustin, is a banker. I grew up with him. He pulled so many strings to help me out. I am so thankful to him. And there's so many people along in my story where if I get any credit for this, it's really dumb to me, because there's so many people that have helped me through this whole process, especially with the sober living houses. And Dustin was one of those. He managed to take a chance on me. And, he said, all you need is a co-signer. My dad was willing to co-sign. That was all good. And then you need to get $80,000 down. And I gave up. I said, hey, I don't have $80,000. What in the world? How am I going to do this? Man, I almost get emotional when I think about it today, because when that time I almost gave up, I stopped, and I just, for like 10 minutes, and just was quiet. And I thought, if I don't take advantage of the situation, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. And man, I was able to raise that $80,000 in 3 days.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. And it is just one thing after another that has blessed, our nonprofit to help so many men that I can't even count. I got in there and they already had, men in the program who were serious about this. And, I made a lot of mistakes early on, but over that time making those mistakes, I found a way that works for me. And I'm very proud of the men we have in our program today. I would put them up against anybody else. They're like my best friends. Like, I'm their biggest supporter. I've never been big on judging other people. If someone messes up, I'm not trying to ridicule them. I'm trying to think of how's the best way we can help you, to get past this. And I'll be honest, they say relapse is a part of recovery. I really don't believe that.
Yeah.
But I do believe, and I've seen this firsthand, that it can be the thing that needs to happen for someone to truly change, because they have an intention. And I mean, I'm right there with you. I had an intention of what I thought drugs and alcohol was gonna, what this effect was gonna be after a little bit of time that I'm sober, and it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. I was immediately miserable, anxiety, depression, all of that. And I've seen guys make a turn from that mess up, what we would call a slip, and has completely changed their lives.
So this isn't something you set out to do when you first got sober. It's just kind of everything just kind of fell into place. That's kind of what I'm feeling, because like Blake kind of tells me when he was still incarcerated that he had this vision and everything else, but it just happened to be that all the cards fell in the right place with you, and it just happened to work out. That's where you were in your life.
Yeah. I mean, think about like how rare it is to have, like when I was asked to start the sober living program for the nonprofit organization I work for, think about how rare it is to have experience in doing that. We have a lot of sober living programs in Oklahoma, but it is rare to get that experience in that specific area. There is not a lot of people who get that. And so I think I was very blessed in that sense, where I didn't know everything by far, but I had a good idea on how to run one. And I knew what I would do differently if I was in charge, and different things like that, and the things I would want to implement. And my biggest, I think my biggest asset at the time was I had a lot of friendships with tons of people in the state of Oklahoma who are in recovery, who, work for different places, and that were going to help me. So, I mean, it's one thing after another of why everything worked out the way it did.
So, golly, I'm sorry. We got people arguing in the chat. So
Yeah, I'm seeing that, and I'm just like, I don't know what.
So let me ask you this: so from the time you from the time you surrendered to the time you raised the $80,000, how long had you had sober?
I was, this was 2020. This was right before COVID. So early 2020, two years. Just over 2 years sober. And that was another thing too. Everything started going. I purchased the houses. I moved in to get to know the guys and everything like that. And then COVID hit. I mean, yeah, that was a crazy time for everybody, especially if, you rely on other people to help keep you sober, and then all of a sudden you're isolated from all people. That was a hard time for me. And
what did that
there was
look
a
like?
lot of relapses during that
I was gonna say, what did that look like in your sober? Like, were you doing the sober houses then?
Yes. Okay. That's right when I started.
Man.
So what we did was we did a lot of Joe and Charlie. We did a lot of Zoom meetings. We did Zoom meetings weekly with the Pillow House. We did a lot of inside house meetings. Me and the guys in the house, in the houses, got really close because we were stuck with each other.
Yeah, sure.
24 hours a day. So I look back on it. It was an amazing time in my life. and we're just very lucky, you know, we got out of that whole ordeal. And then that organization that I had worked for, they ended up donating their house in Edmond area to Solid Rock Recovery. And so at that time, I mean, this was like 2 or 3 months after I started Solid Rock Recovery that it really got up and going. I went from 0 houses to 3 houses in a 3-month span.
Damn.
So yeah, and then now I'm trying to help 30 men, you know, all at once. And I'll be honest with you, I was overwhelmed at first. I did not expect that. I expected to start with 1, you know, 8 to 10 guys in the house, and then just kind of work it up. So it was all kind of thrown on me very early on. And you know, we ended up selling that house and it was in North Edmond, was such a far distance from me. We ended up selling that 2.5 years ago. We purchased our newest house 2.5 years ago after that. And one of the biggest points for me, crossroads, was I love what I do. But you know, I got married, have 3 kids. Financially, I was not able to support my family with doing sober living. I didn't do it for money ever, you know. So I've always had another job on top of that. I've worked all levels of care for people in recovery. I've worked at detox centers, treatment centers, obviously sober living, you name it. And I got so worn out that I wanted to quit. I could not keep doing everything. Burnt out would be an understatement. You know, I would go to work, you know, have the 9 to 5. Then from 5 to 9, I'm handling 36 men in our sober living program, you know, and doing everything to keep the nonprofit afloat, you know, struggling financially, you name it, handling it all. And then I come home and I'm all of a sudden I don't have the energy for my wife and kids that I need to have for them, you know, and then it really affected my family. And so I was talking to the board about how, you know, I'm quitting. I can't keep doing this. It's, you know, I want to help people. It's what I've always wanted, but it's just not working out for me. And a board member of mine named Jake says, well, why don't you just hire somebody to work with you? And I was like, Jake, that's a great idea. Let's just do that. So we hired on Jason with us just over 2 years ago. And Eddie, he has been the biggest blessing to me and my family, you know, like Nemo, you know, and not everybody's got a Nemo to help you run your program, you know, in there. And so Jason does that for us, and he is amazing at it. You know, he has worked in recovery for over 10 years. So the guy's got knowledge, he's got a heart for it, and really saved the organization in a sense. And man, things are going so good now. We have, I think currently we got 12 guys with us that have over a year, you know, and we've
awesome.
consistently had that 12 to 16 guys in our program with at least a year sober. And I think for us, that is the biggest thing that helps me and Jason do what we do.
And that's why y'all are so, and I want to apologize to the viewers real quick. I'm sorry. We had a guy in the comments that was just going on and saying some crazy things. So I had to, I banned him from the chat.
Good. Okay. Cause he wasn't my guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Jared, DM me later, bro. I ain't going to block you or nothing, but DM me later, bro. We'll talk about it. But that's, yeah. It was crazy. It was starting to it was distracting me.
It was the comment was like this long, bro. Yeah, and I obviously wasn't going to put it up on the screen, but
yeah,
And thank you for the guys who took our defense in the chat. Thank you. I mean, like I said, Nemo's handling.
We really appreciate it.
We've never experienced this before.
Yeah,
so this is a new one.
All new. I mean. I say all press is good press. I don't, whatever, man. Yeah, it's fine though. So we're moving on. But
now I didn't get to see it. Was it somebody that?
Well, Christo, no, it's probably one of my followers, but he was mad that you were. He said, "Oh, is this a story about promoting sober living houses and halfway houses and sober living?" And he was wanting to hear, you know, because right when you started, you said, "I'm not going to get too much of what it was like." and I guess he was wanting to hear about what it was like. And
well, okay. Let me go through it real quick then. I mean, make that.
No, you don't. No, it's not like
I'm just saying, if you're a drug addict or an alcoholic, you know exactly what it's like.
Yeah,
right.
I totally respect that.
I'll put it to you this way, and my family and everyone I know knows my story. I track marks constantly through my arms. Could not shoot in my arms anymore. Destroyed those veins. Always wearing long sleeves during the summertime. Waking up sick. Not keeping
very
a job,
common
not
thread
being
with
honest.
yeah.
Not having integrity. I don't live that way anymore. And
I love what you said, though. You said I'm not going to get too far into that because my sponsor always tells me when I get behind the podium to tell my story, he says, "Get sober fast,
quick." Yep.
Get sober quick. Yeah, and because if we spend so much time on that, I mean,
with
the
almost idolizing it. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what that's like, or she knows what that's like already. We want to see what God's done for you now.
And the cool thing is after the dude was going off, you went into how it was a struggle, almost quit. The real part of that. That's the thing is I don't want any of our viewers to ever think that, man, life is easy now that we're in recovery. That's the bottom. We're having to live life on life's terms, no matter what. We're just not choosing to throw drugs or alcohol at it now. Because life happens. People die. Adversities happen. Sometimes business ventures fail. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. So
not at all.
But I will say this: my problems today are good problems. I don't worry about do I have a warrant in this county or am I going to take this 5 in 5 out or I don't worry about those problems anymore. My problems now are like, man, am I gonna be able to make rent this month? Or, oh dang, I got a flat tire on the way to work. But you know what? Thank God I have a job. Thank God I'm able. God always comes through for me when rent is due. So I have good problems now.
Yeah, dude, this has been outstanding. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
My problem is I'm like, man, it's too cold. I want to put gas in my car.
Hey, your problem is that T-shirt is too tight, dog.
Yeah, I mean, those are some pretty borderline third world problems right there, Chris, man.
Oh, what are you drinking? Hold that up again to the screen.
You got the juice box, bro. The problem is he don't know. Yeah, I mean, Chris.
Hey, I say this all the time that life doesn't get better. The way we handle it gets better.
Yeah.
I allow myself 10 minutes to be as mad, to be as victim mentality as I want or whatever. But I give myself that 10 minutes, and then after that, it's saying, okay, what's the solution?
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? I spend any longer than 10 minutes, that's just wasting my day because I'm not going to fix it.
Yeah.
Staying in the problem.
I can focus on the opportunity or I can focus on the obstacle. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to turn that into an opportunity. That's definitely.
Well, as cliche as it sounds, it's a lesson or a blessing,
Yeah.
I mean, 100%, there's reasons things happen,
Well, and you got to take into perspective too, just how serious this is that what we're talking about. That's why I support you guys so much.
Yeah.
I support anybody who's in recovery, anybody who's doing anything in the recovery field because it's vital. Just last year in 2023 there was over 107,000 overdose deaths in America.
That's the pandemic right there, man. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of it's swept under the rug too. They're starting to do the Narcan stuff, and that's great. I applaud them for that, but they're still not addressing the fact that is a pandemic that's killing people of all ages. It's not just young people. It's people of all ages. You got veterans coming back from wars who don't know how to cope. You got young people who are just partying, and then it turns into the fentanyl shit. And it's just there's a million different ways, man.
Well, to put that in perspective for people, there was just over 58,000 people who died in the Americans who died in the Vietnam War. I mean, World War II. There was a total over the 4 years of a little over. The closest estimates are 420,000 Americans died in World War II. in 4 years, there's been just as many drug addicts die of overdoses in the last 4 years. When you put that in perspective, you see the issues of what's going on here. I've lost so many friends. I go to, on average, probably about 3 or 4 funerals a year.
Yeah.
Of people that I was very, very close with. And that's been common ever since I started hanging around drug addicts and alcoholics.
It never gets easier either.
Yeah.
It's still a gut punch every time. And what I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
Well, for me, that's why it's so important it doesn't matter how you get sober. It doesn't matter, whatever's working for you is working for you.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about today what worked for me. And the reason I have such a passion for service work, helping other people, is because that's what truly helped me. And I had so many men come to me and help me that, without them, I would not be sitting here talking to you sober today. So,
and it all started with Christo surrendering.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what it started. And think about how many lives you have changed because you made that decision, or how many
whose lives they went on to change on down the road.
Right.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't really like taking any kind of credit or anything that I do, because, all of you guys are impacting people as well. I mean, we do this as a group. There's not one person. And I talked about this the other night. When I first walked into a meeting, I'm walking around. I'm like, okay, who runs this thing? Who's running this meeting? And then the person I'm always going to pick is the person who seems like they're helping the most people. So helping the most people that you possibly can seems to be pretty important, in recovery. So, I mean, I do not do anything special at all. I'm just another bozo on the bus, over here. And I just raise my hand on a daily basis. And I'm like, is there, 1 or 2 people that I can help today, make a day a little better? In our sponsorship line, one of the things that I'm told to do when I'm having a bad day is to pick up the phone, call 2 people, and ask how they're doing, and do not talk about myself.
Yeah.
Do not talk about anything about me, and ask if there's anything I can do for them to help them. And it is amazing how that gets me out of my psychology, gets me out of my victim mentality.
Yeah. That would work for people that are not in recovery too. If you think about it, a lot of these principles that we live by would help people that are not drug addicts and alcoholics.
Yeah. I mean, what are we talking about? Honesty, hope, integrity, love, perseverance, all these different things that a normal person, and I've said this for years, going through, a recovery program can help you recover from almost anything if you're willing to put in the work. And I truly believe that.
So, Chris,
I believe that
Go ahead, Chris. Sorry, brother.
I just believe that if anybody works any type of program, it doesn't, even if you're not on drugs, you know what I mean? If you're just having issues in life, it can help you in any type of way. And I tell people that all the time. It's if you're working a program, like, that's what really matters. Because, you could be just sitting around, not doing anything, white knuckling it. And that really sucks, because I did that for 2 years. My life was miserable.
I overdosed 7 times. That gives you perspective. Like, just the carelessness that we have for our life, is something that is just, it's hard for me to understand today because I'm clear-headed, but I was not clear-headed for 8 years of my life.
So let's get to it. What does life look like today for Christo? What from the moment, like, I know we paused right there at you just raised the $80,000. Where are you at today in life? Even your personal relationships, all that. What does it look like for Christo?
I wish I could sit here and tell you that my life is perfect, and that, I'll tell you this, my life is truly amazing. But it is not the life I thought I would have. If you would have talked to me in my first 30 days of sobriety and said, hey, you're going to be 7 years sober, what do you think your life's going to look like? I would have told you I'd be driving around a Corvette. You know, I would be having this nice, amazing job, paying me all this money, all these, all these different things. And it would a lot of it would associate with money. I do not have a lot of money today, but I am happier than I have ever been in my entire life. I have more relationships with substance than I've ever had in my whole life.
Amen.
I mean, that's truly what my life looks like. I still got a lot of problems, still different things that I need to work on in me. You take the drugs and alcohol away, you still got me, and I'm somebody who has a lot of issues, character defects is what we like to call them, but I get an opportunity to be around drug addicts and alcoholics almost on a daily basis, and that is the biggest blessing for me, because it's hard for me to forget where I came from, constantly trying to help someone that's new, that's coming in this deal. I could go on for an hour. My gratitude list is really long. We just did that the other night, like I said, for Thanksgiving, and it's kind of surreal. It feels like the time has just flown by for me since I got sober. But I'm just beyond blessed. I'll tell you this, though. I get greater sacrifice and greater joy seeing someone else's life turn around. That is the greatest reward I've ever gotten to see in my life. Is, I knew Chris years ago, man, and like just seeing what he's doing today, right? I have more happiness for him than I do for myself. And I get to see that all the time. It is one of the greatest blessings.
So
we love Chris.
I'm going to put this question up here for everybody. I think she's tuning in from Pittsburgh. How long y'all got doing the broadcast have sober? So
Susie Fetterman. So we require 1 year sobriety and no mat. So we're not going to, I don't want to debate about that. It's just one of the rules we have for being on the show.
Yeah, so, we kind of voted on that. That's what we came to.
Did she mean like, how long do we have sober?
No, how long do y'all doing the broadcast? Oh, yeah. Okay. My bad. She did. It's the wrong thing.
Okay. Yeah. Bradley's got, you guys tell your times, man.
I just celebrated 7 years sober, November 18th.
I celebrated 4 years, August 20th.
And I celebrated 3 years, August 30th, 2021, or August 30th, 2021 is my sobriety date. So,
and then mine is October 4th, 2017.
So we're getting close on time. Let's go and pop that question up there, Chris. You want to do that? And I've already got your question for the next guest, because we tried to do it before where we can all kind of answer the question. And we ran out of time last couple times. But so, Christo, you got this question just before the show. I thought Chris gave it to you earlier. Whatever the case may be, here's your question. In recovery, they give us tools. What is your go-to recovery tool?
So I know there's probably supposed to just be one on this answer, but I'm going to do answer with two. These two go simultaneously. They're the two of the most important things in my life. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but it is service work and sponsorship. I take directions from my sponsor. I try to help and do service work for other people, and I sponsor other men. That is it's a twofold answer for me. That would be my answer.
Amen.
That's a great answer.
Well, you, Chris?
What? Okay.
Me, tools that I just say, man, that's a tough question.
Is it juice boxes?
My tool would be, man, I'll just say just service work. That's like service work is one of my favorite things to do. And like I don't give a crap about, like I like seeing people survive. Like I've lost too many friends. It's I want to see people survive. So service work.
Okay. You want to go next, Bradley? I'll go. Okay. So Man, that's been something that's been super pivotal in my pivotal in my recovery lately is doing H&Is, giving back and trying to shed some hope to people that, that's one thing when I first went to rehab is my fear was that life was going to be boring. How am I going to survive being not messed up all the time? And, these guys came in and shared a message of hope that, life can be all right without having to have drugs and alcohol in my system, and it just kind of moved on from there. And that's something, like I said, even if there's maybe a group of 20 people, even if I only reach one person, then, I've done my part. I want to be a part of that. Even, like I said, even if I'm only one of many, if it reaches one person, then I've done my job. So.
Well, you've reached a lot more than one person, bro. You're doing your job. I'm proud of you, dog. My tool in recovery, my go-to is prayer and meditation. And that is because when I bring my problem, what looks like a huge problem, to God, and then I meditate and reflect on how he's helped me in the past, it gives me hope that I'm going to make it through this again. Like he's never let me down from the moment I've surrendered, from the moment that I've gotten sober. Not one single time has he let me down. And so when I bring my problem to him in prayer and I reflect back on how he's helped me in the past, it just gives me hope, and it strengthens my faith. So that would be my main tool. Now I do use multiple other tools, and it goes along the lines of sponsorship, and sponsoring other people, helping guys in the sober living houses, even making a video about recovery on my platforms, and giving hope to others that there is a way out. You don't have to be stuck. I don't care how far down the line you have gone or how old you are, it's never too late to turn it all around. And God is no respecter of persons. He will do for you what he has done for me if you just let him. So
100%, man.
That is my go-to is prayer and meditation.
It's good, man. And so I already got your question before we went on. So if you want to change this, let me know. But the question you said for our next guest is, since you've been sober, what is the greatest thing you ever received? You still want to keep it at that? Okay,
yes,
cool.
I do.
Man, this has been really good, dude. I like I said, it was really cool that you walked up to me the other day and just kind of congratulated me. That was the first time I met you, and I'd heard it was really cool to meet you. So it's been really cool hearing your story. And man, this has been really awesome, dude. It's been a good episode. So
I feel like
been great.
I feel like maybe just because I've been rambling too much, but this flew by.
Yeah, no, it does that, man. We'll it'll be we go over frequently. So
you did great.
Yeah, that was
you
good.
did
man.
Awesome.
Thanks, man. I truly mean this. I want to tell you guys how big of a fan I am of what you guys do. This thing is growing. You're helping a lot of people, putting this out there, hearing so many stories, and man, I'm excited to continue to listen and see where you guys go in the future.
We appreciate that, man. Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and shout everyone out in the comments. Okay, can we do that real quick?
Do it, man.
Shout out David Walker, Candace Decker, what's up, girl? Clinton Cole, I said that already. Chad Gruber, Aaron Henderson, Valerie Crawford, Isaac Ferlu. Man, did I say it
Isaac
wrong?
F.
I know. Okay, I know that guy. So it's like Valerie Crawford. I said that already. Heather Renee. Sorry if I said it twice. Stephen Ramsey. Go Niners. Bang, bang. How are my Niners doing right now?
I thought you were checking on that.
I got lost, bro. I got lost. So I could. Mindy Owens. I think I already said that. Oh, here. Jared Taylor. Sorry, brother. We had to kick you out the chat, man. If you DM me, we can talk about it. I still love you, bro. Rodney Rowe, Brooke Southern, shout out. I'm messing with you, dog.
I do my best, man.
My homie Curtis McLean, that's my dog. Jody Matthews, what's up, brother? I'm see, I got you. Evelyn Settles, Susie Fetterman. She watched the whole time. She's
very
the one
engaged. Yeah,
she had some really good questions. I appreciate y'all so much. Amanda Espinoza. Tonette Gore, Michael Kinslow, we're gonna have you on pretty soon, brother. I'm excited about that one too. Timothy Pillardi, big shout out to him. Dustin Thomason, he said just another bozo on the bus. You must have got that from him, I bet.
That's my sponsor.
Yeah, you got that from him.
Plagiarized. Yeah, that's cool, man. Everything's
Shout out.
plagiarized.
Supreme Lyric, DM me. We'll talk about it, brother. Chris Fay. Wow, guys, we got a lot of people. Mikey Wookie.
A hell of a name.
Okay, I already said, yeah. I know. I was hoping I said it right. Grace Sarah. Stephanie Shingler Dayer. She said she's been sober since October 17th, 22. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my wife's birthday. And Eminem's birthday. I don't know if that matters or whatever, but Amber Collins Witt. And guys, we had a question. I answered the question wrong earlier, but someone did ask me another question afterwards, and it's 1 year sober, and you can DM us. You can DM Brooks, Chris, or me, and we'll get back to you. So 1 year sober and no MAT. So, and someone asked, what is MAT? So MAT is medicated assisted treatment. So if you're like on Suboxone, methadone, medical marijuana, kratom, or, and that, yeah. No,
Kratom, I don't think you can get medically. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's a problem, bro. It's a problem. People are strung out on it these days. But we prefer, and I'm not bashing anyone's recovery. You know what I'm saying? If you're smoking marijuana and it's helping, or you're doing Suboxone and you feel like your life is greater, then man, more power to you. It's just I do not advocate for MAT, and if we can debate that another day. But so that is the criteria: is 1 year sober and no MAT. Okay, so, and we'd love to have y'all on here.
Yeah, man. So just hit one of us up for sure. All the names are down there.
I actually want to shout out Josh Russell. Shout out to Josh Russell. They got the Comeback Kids. They're trying to make Christmas for these kids. Please, please, please DM him. Donate. If you need to get a hold of him, DM me and I'll get you right over there to him.
Let me answer one question. Susie Fetterman is asking how often we do this. We do this once a week. It's every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, with the exception of last week. We did it at 8 o'clock.
And the exception of holidays, Yeah,
so, holidays. We typically don't.
But we do it every Sunday.
Yeah. So we're running up on a year, guys. Isn't it February?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a great year, bro. It's
been good, man. So you're welcome, Susie. So without any further ado, thank you guys for tuning in for Been Around the Block episode 32. Christo, thank you so much for sharing your story. And man, dude, just keep up the good work, dude. You've affected a lot of guys' lives, and dude, we need people like you. It helps the community, man. And we talked about what the statistics are, and we need more people like you, man. So like I said, if you guys need anything, DM one of us. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Get that music going.
Thank you.
I just Swing Dave called this number back. I need $25 for this walk around sit down chair.
My Niners are losing.
What's the score?
14-3.
Playing Josh Allen tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to delete that last post. Gosh dang it.